Ladies and gentlemen, after one of my live streams, someone in the comments asked me which one of these things are going to happen to SoFi first. And as I was reading the list, I was a little confused because I thought one of these is not going to happen for many years. One of these I think is going to happen in, the next month. And to me, it seemed obvious in what order these were going to end up happening. So I wanted to write out for me what are the catalysts that I'm looking for in 2025? And so today, that's exactly what we're going to do. And so I created a little presentation for you guys. I'm going to be breaking it down into three separate categories: what I believe is likely to happen in 2025, what I hope is going to happen in 2025, and number three is something that I just think would be a little bit of a far stretch, but still could potentially happen depending on how good things can get. Let's start off by just saying that I do actually have a new Discord channel. It's the first and only official Discord channel. If you guys want to check it out, you can scan the QR code on screen or it'll be down in the description down below. We just opened it up. There's already 100 plus members in there. We're trying to get it to 1,000 new members. So if you guys can join in on the conversation, and that way we can continue the DD even whenever we're not live on stream. I've been pretty active in there, so hopefully you guys can ask any questions you want even after we're not just posting content. All right, let's go next. First off, likely to happen. Starting with number one, I believe SoFi will be fully ported over to Galileo's Cyberbank core. Okay, this was actually called Technisys back in the day, but now it's all under the Cyberbank name, all under the Galileo name. And now they said that this would be finished by the end year of 2025, and that they would save approximately $60 to $70 million annually thereafter. So this is a very big deal, but it is expected to be done in 2025. Next up, we have a 3 million member milestone. Okay. Currently, I believe, and this also comes with the expectation that we finish over 10 million new members by the end of 2024, which would be about, 627,000 new members added. But I believe that they'll add about 3 million new members going forward in 2025. We're averaging about 750,000 new members per quarter. But as the total amount of members continue to climb, I believe that there's going to be more referrals, more cross-sell, and then that also means that they're going to have more money to increase their customer acquisition costs. It's that total snowball effect. Okay? Next up, we have SoFi landing its first DSP client for IPOs. Okay, 2025 is supposed to be a very big market for capital markets. I believe that there's some big names that could potentially IPO, like Stripe or Notion or one of these companies that I'd love to get my hands on. But maybe SoFi will be a part of those transactions and earn us some great fee-based streams of revenue that could also help bring on new customer acquisition, because those companies would want to give some shares to their customers, to their employees, to their family members. And so those people would have to start opening up SoFi accounts in order to get shares in those companies, pre-IPO. The next one, further rate cuts. Okay. By the December meeting, December 10th, 2025, there's expected at sort of the midpoint of this range at 30% that we're going to get rates down to 3.75 to 4%. Okay. There's even some expectations that we get it down to as low as 2.75%, but there's a 98% chance of easing throughout this point. And obviously, we have to look at this thinking that this is a positive for SoFi, as there will be more lending activity, there'll be more selling of loans, and then that will make more money, which then they'll need new customers to get that 3 million users that we expect. Lastly, for likely to happen, I think that Galileo accounts are definitely ripe to continue to explode, re-accelerate to 25% year over year. This is what Anthony Noto has been talking about for some time. They said we're likely to hit our big fair share of clients going forward in 2025. Moving on to hope to happen. Okay. First up, forget the 3 million members. I actually think that we are going to get potentially 4 million new members in 2025 as we continue to hit new higher highs in new member counts, and that we might actually hit the 1 million member per quarter mark. That might not be from Q1 of 2025. It might be 800,000 by that point. But then by Q4 of 2025, we're hitting 1.3 million or something along these lines, where it doesn't necessarily have to be linear growth here. Okay. Next up would be servicing student loans and also selling them on the loan platform business. Okay. So in Q3, they just added these two new segments to their overall business, which was loan servicing and loan platform business. They were not doing this for student loans at the time. And you can see that even whenever we read this here, it says SoFi Servicing is our servicer for all student loan account needs. Well, that actually started at the beginning of November. And if it's anything like Q3, where we sold $1 billion of personal loans sold through the loan platform business, who knows what we could bring with the addition of student loans as well. I think that might be a massive catalyst in 2025, and I could absolutely see happening. Next up, business banking for SoFi. Now, this has been talked about for many years. This is why I didn't say it's likely to happen, but I sure hope it happens because SoFi is better placed than most businesses. Having the banking license, having Galileo, having SoFi at work for member benefits and everything, it's just so ripe. Even having individual product lines is also important because there's other companies that are only offering SMB banking. Well, to offer individual products as well is also a massive slam dunk for them. So I think that they are very well positioned to take over this market, but it's just a matter of them getting there, which Anthony Noto, as you can see here, has been talking about for some time. Next up, we have SoFi Invest. Okay. They've been talking about bringing level 1 options. I think that they're going to get into advanced tax reporting and 24/5 trading, as well as potentially other things that they could get into, like fractional fixed income. These are things that SoFi could bring to the average individual investor to really bump up their overall trading experience. So you don't need to go after this active trader market and try to compete with Robinhood. You can look for things that are very much in the beginner-friendly section, but continue to still build that out, make it easier, and make the market just a little bit more open for people to choose and pick what they want. And I think that, level 1 options are top of mind for them. They've been building it for some time. 24/5 markets is beneficial to everyone, and fractional fixed income, I just think, would be a massive step forward for people. Lastly, I believe that Galileo deepening their relationship with SoFi sponsored bank programs will be a very big step in 2025. What I have here for you is Rapid Finance, that not only is using Galileo to help set them up a card that actually taps a business account line of credit, but they also use that actual card is being issued by SoFi Bank. So not only do I think 2025 is going to have more partnerships like this, which, by the way, this program just came out of a pilot and they're running it for the rest of their business now, but I also think that SoFi Bank for deposit accounts will also be a big step in that direction as well, working with Galileo accounts. I hope this happens in 2025. Now, for a long stretch opportunity for what SoFi could do in 2025, this is where we get to be a little bit creative. Now, remember, these are not things that I don't think SoFi will ever do. These are I believe that all of these things are 100% chance of happening for SoFi. It's just a matter of whether they get done in the next 365 days of 2025. So first up is international expansion. One of the things that they talked about, Galileo and Technisys, was the fact that they have such a broad reach in all of the Americas. But helping bring SoFi down into Latin America or up into Canada is an easier route, considering that you already have a lot of those pieces set up. You'll have the digital infrastructure through Technisys, and you'll have the card programs and payment rails set up through Galileo. So it does actually seem that international expansion will be very ripe for SoFi. I mean, they already are in Hong Kong, for example, but getting into LATAM would be a very big step forward for them. It's just a matter of if it gets done in 2025. Similarly, with S&P 500 inclusion, they are checking off so many of these boxes, but what they do need is $18 billion of market cap. At the current outstanding amount of shares that SoFi has, that's a price target of around $16.30. So we're very close to getting to that S&P 500 inclusion requirements. That doesn't necessarily mean that we'll be chosen, but obviously hitting all these requirements will be the first step, and 1630 is definitely within reach for 2025. Next up, we have 4.5 million users. Once again, I think that it is possible, especially if the loan platform business starts to really run. I believe that customer acquisition costs are going to skyrocket, similarly to what happened in 2021 for Upstart. They essentially 4x their customer acquisition cost as they saw that loan performance was doing so well and that more banks wanted to buy loans. So obviously they had to go out and get new customers to fill those gaps. Well, if the sort of loan performance for SoFi, if the demand is there, SoFi will have to go out to attract new users onto their platform, and that could be to the length of around 1.125 million users per quarter. Next up, I absolutely believe that this is going to happen. It's just a matter of when. And if it's going to come in 2025, I think it's a long stretch. But re-offering crypto accounts or wallets, we want access to Bitcoin or Ethereum or Solana through SoFi, but the bank charter took that away. With the replacement of Gary Gensler, we might actually see this restart, whether it's Dan Gallagher or whoever actually gets in. They could actually look to open this up to registered banks, which would be very exciting for SoFi. Now, the last one I'm about to show you is a little bit ambiguous, and this is because it's not on any of their roadmaps. And that is, well, anything that's not on their roadmap. Whether that is new partnerships that they get into to expand financial service offerings like through insurance, doing an acquisition that we cannot expect that potentially I put out Galileo expanding to credit and credit cards. I think that that's a very big one, but who knows? They could be doing another small acquisition that I could not foresee. A merger with a larger company that, maybe it's Apex FinTech, for example, which they already have, partial ownership of, that could get them into the broker side of the Galileo AWS of FinTech. That would be massive. Or potentially it's just simply expanding into what they already are doing, which is SoFi Marketplace, looking to get into travel or renting a car or potentially just SoFi shopping. These are aspects of the FinTech journey that SoFi has not quite done yet, but could absolutely expand into. The market for SoFi currently is just absolutely massive, and there's so much for them to do, but this is what I'm hoping that they get done in 2025. But let me know what you guys think. Is this out of order, or are there things that I'm just completely missing? Let me know on the Discord, Future Investing Discord. You can check that out down in the description down below. Thank you all so much for watching. Really do appreciate your time. But bye for now.